Welcome back to the Growth Over Goals podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Montgomery, and today we sit down for one of my all-time favorite conversations ever recorded on the Growth Over Goals podcast. Today's guest is John C. Maxwell. John Maxwell was kind enough to write the foreword to my book. He's been an incredible friend and mentor who's had a significant impact on my life. Currently, John and I have partnered up with a few other leaders to mentor high-capacity leaders across the country. If you want more information about that program, we'd love to come alongside you and be a part of your development journey this next year. Email Ashley at montgomerycompanies.com. John is currently the top leadership author in the world. He's written over 90 books, sold over 40 million copies, and currently runs the largest coaching company in the world. His work is being felt around the globe, but today we get him on the Growth Over Goals podcast to discuss all things mentorship. If you're in the business of mentoring others or you're currently being mentored, today's conversation is for you. Here's our guest, John C. Maxwell. John Maxwell, dear friend, mentor, you've been with us now for 3 weeks in a row. I think we were in Florida together, Texas.
Yes.
And now we have a podcast conversation this morning. So thank you for your investment of time and energy into my life. And what an honor it is to have you on the show this morning.
Yeah, it's great to be with you. We have to quit meeting like this. Oh my gosh, we're getting frequent, aren't we? Huh?
Well, we really are. And shout out Chad Johnson for helping us, to stay connected.
Well, you and Chad are great friends of mine, and I love how you really lead and care for people. And so to be a part of anything, Jordan, you're doing, I'm just all in. I'm very excited about our podcast today.
Well, listen, it has been a joy to learn from you and to have you in my life as a mentor and friend. Your name will be synonymous, John, I think, with a lot of different terms. Certainly leadership, communication would be one. But one of the things your name has become synonymous with and will continue to be synonymous with is mentorship. And so we're going to talk a little bit about mentorship today. You've been a dear mentor to me, and now you're talking about mentorship. Matter of fact, we're running a program together in conjunction with some other mentors. I'm really honored to be one of your mentors in that program, High Capacity Leadership. It's a mentorship program, year-long mentorship with John Maxwell. We're going to add some information in the show notes if people want to be a part of that moving forward. But I'd love to know from you, John, what did you learn from mentors over the years? What did they mean to you? What did you learn, and who were some of your mentors in your leadership journey?
That's a great question, Jordan. I had a lady recently come up to me and said to me, she said, I figured out why you're so successful. I said, okay, well, help me figure that out. And she said, well, you're very successful helping people become very successful. And when she said that, I thought, that's what I try to do through mentoring and through writing and speaking. But then I thought about it, Jordan. That's how I'm very successful. I'm very successful because a whole bunch of people before me mentored me. And they made me very successful. And when I talk about personal growth and development, which I'm very passionate about, when I talk about personal growth and development, what I realize is of all the ways that I've grown, and there are like a dozen different ways that you can personally develop yourself and grow, by far the most effective growth tool that I've ever had is mentorship. People that know more than I do and have done more than I've done, helping me to connect the dots for my future that really allows me to kind of almost expedite the growth in my own life. So mentoring is, I have been mentored and my life has been changed by that. And I think that's why I'm so committed to mentoring others like the younger generation you talked about a little bit earlier. I'm having a blast mentoring them. But when I think of my top 10 mentors, it's interesting. 8 of them now have passed away. I have 2 remaining. And one of the things I would say to anyone is that when you lose a mentor that of the degree that I'm talking about now, I've had hundreds of people mentor me, some just for a moment or a season, and then they were gone. They did something for me that I needed right at that moment, some for a lifetime. But when I talk about my top 10, when I say they can't be replaced, why they can't be replaced is they gave me great teaching and information, but what they really gave me was that's truly contagious is the spirit within me. In other words, who mentors you is as important as what they say. And a lot of times when we think of mentoring, well, I've got to get somebody that's wiser than me. Yes, we do. But you also need to get somebody that is just really a great person. I mean, I had John Wooden. John Wooden would be one of my 10, the great coach at UCLA, and he mentored me for 14 years and was a terrific friend and would be at the very top of my mentorship list. But I remember the first time I went out to be with him in Los Angeles after we spent a day together. As I was walking to my car, I lived in a condo, so there was a visitor's parking place. And as I just got to about where my car door was, I had a intuitive sense I needed to turn around. And I turned around. When I turned around, much to my surprise, I looked right up at the second floor where he lived at his balcony. And he was standing on the balcony, and he was watching me the whole time. And when I turned around and saw him, he put a big smile on his face, and he gave me that John Wooden wave that was unforgettable. And I got in the car, and as I started driving away, I just thought to myself, I have listened to a wise man, but I've spent time with a great man. And the wave did something for me. You know, big people make you feel bigger, and you can't replace the wave. That's why I say, well, you know, when he passes away, the wave is gone. I still feel it. I still see the wave. So it is with me. And so it's kind of like he lives because of who he was as much as what he said. So when I look at the great mentors, their spirit was as great as their wisdom. And so it's not kind of either or. I know people that are contagious with enthusiasm, but they really don't. They're not wise. I mean, they don't. I mean, take them to the football game, okay? Take them to the football game. But they're and then I know some people that are very wise that have helped me a lot with information, but within I never caught their spirit. And so it's kind of like not either or, it's kind of like both. So to me, when I think of mentoring people, I want to give them all the wisdom I can give them, but I also want to give them belief and care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I want to share my heart with them, and I want them to not only hear me, I want them to feel me and to know me. And I think that's what sets great mentorship apart. And when I'm with your group and the high capacity leaders, I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm trying to give them great wisdom to connect the dots for their future, because they're very hungry for it. They lean in, but I'm also trying the same sense to pass on a spirit of humility, a sense of belief in them, that they'll feel that it's kind of like I hear part of the mentoring, and I feel part of the mentoring, and I think that both of them are needed to really be successful in helping people.
Well, I've been fortunate to catch your spirit, John, over the years, and part of what's in you is humility. You're a person of faith, and you had to learn that in your journey. You tell this story. One of my favorite stories of yours is when, I believe it was somebody from your church, sat you down. I think you were in your mid-30s.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Talked about your gifts. Could you tell that story real quick to our listeners? Because if you're an emerging leader, this is a great story of really humility and getting yourself around right people, but seeing your gifts the right way.
Well, this was life-changing. I was 34. I had the 7th largest church in America, so I was growing a very, very successful church. I was writing, and my books were really starting to do well. And Amazon, it was about that time that I think I was the first person to be inducted into the Amazon Hall of Fame for writing, with maybe a dozen others. But anyway, the point being, I was clicking on all cylinders. I had a mentor come out, and one afternoon we went to the Brigantine restaurant, La Mesa, and he said, "This is going to be a long lunch, John. I want to talk to you about something that you just need to hear." And in that conversation that we had that day, his bottom line is, he said, "I'll bet people say you're amazing when you talk." And yeah, they do. Or your book was amazing. Well, yeah, I hear that sometime. And then he looked at me. I'll never forget. He looked at me and he said, "I know you well, John." And he said, "The reason I'm here is I want you to know that you're not amazing." There's nothing amazing about you. And I go, whoa, okay, well, and of course he loved me very much, but he said, no, he said, what's amazing is your giftedness. Your gifts are amazing. And he said, people confuse your giftedness with you because the gifts come out of you, so they kind of think they're you. But he said, we know that they're gifts from God. And so what is amazing is the good gifts God has given you, not you yourself. In fact, to get me really on my feet on the ground, he's told me, he said, in fact, I know you well. He said, you're one step from stupid. And, Jordan, honestly, he could have said I was a block away, like you'd have to walk a block to stupid. But then he said, no, you're stupid's right here. You're about to step into stupid. And then he said, and I want you to know that these are gifts from God. You didn't earn them. You didn't deserve them. You're not entitled to them. In fact, they're gifts from him. He gave them to you without you asking, and he could take them away without you objecting. They're gifts. They're from him. They come from him. He's the source. And that day was life-changing. It was really life-changing for me. I'm so glad he caught me at that time, because what he taught me that day was that I take my calling very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all. My name's John. I'm a friend. I'm not into titles. I'm not into parking places or offices. I'm not into any of that stuff, because I realized so when people come up and they still do, they'll say, oh, that was an amazing book, or that was an incredible talk. I thank them, but I remember his words, and I realize what they're really doing is they're giving credit to God, not me. They don't understand that, and I don't take time to explain it, but I do know that when I walk off that stage and the people are on their feet, they're really clapping for God. They're not clapping for me. The best way I explain myself is I'm just God's delivery boy. I just kind of deliver. I just kind of walk around and I deliver thoughts and ideas, and I'm a delivery boy. And as long as I see myself as a delivery boy, I think I do really well. I think if I look at myself as I'm the man, I think then I got problems. It was a great mentoring session, life-changing for me, kept my feet on the ground, got me off the pedestal, and it just keeps me grounded. And what's great about that mentoring was it's so true. It's really true. It's not about me. So I tell people, if they want to be successful, just get over yourself. And hey, everyone else has gotten over you, so you can get over yourself. Laugh at yourself. Everyone else is laughing at you.
Right.
So just when you get over yourself and it's not about you, now you really become effective, because you can then really give yourself to people when it's not about you. If it's about me, then I can't give what I need to give. I've got to get over myself so I can give myself to people.
Well said. Well, you're delivering a lot at a high level, and now through other people. Maxwell Leadership, many know this, some don't. Maxwell Leadership is the largest coaching company in the world. Over 60,000 coaches. Totally. You've been impactful in 160 different countries.
Yeah.
I want to know this, John. I know you look for humility when you decide to mentor someone, but what else do you look for as a mentor to many mentees? What are some of the traits that you're looking for in somebody that you're going to mentor?
They're very simple, Jordan. The traits, humility is the first. And the reason humility is so important is you show me a humble person, I'll show you a teachable person. In other words, they'll really grasp what I'm trying to share with them, and they'll really apply it to their life. You show me an arrogant person, they're just not teachable. So humility, there are three I think of. Humility, hungry. I wanted to be hungry. As a young leader, I was hungry to learn. I would do anything to have a place at the table with somebody that could teach me and let me ask questions. So I think hungry, and then smart. Honestly, I want to be smart. They got to have some. They have to have some capacity with it. I was having lunch one day with Lou Holtz, and he was saying to me, he said, John, he said, I've coached good players and I've coached bad players, and I'm just a better coach with good players. And I thought, well, and that's true with me. So I've mentored good players and I've mentored bad players. I'm just a better mentor with good players. So I wanted to be, humble, hungry, and smart. And if I see that, again, with these young high capacity leaders that you and Chad have me mentoring right now, that I'm so excited about, one of the things I find that is really part of their DNA is they're humble kids. They're really hungry to learn, but they're also they're smart. They're smart kids. So when I deliver, they have the ability to do something with what I gave them. So it's fun mentoring them because they fulfill those qualifications.
Well, there are so many hungry, humble, and smart people in the high capacity mentorship program. Again, we're going to offer some more information in the show notes if you want to learn about the program that John is leading. Assuming, John, someone is hungry, humble, and smart, what practical advice would you give to young leaders about finding the right mentor and then ultimately growing that relationship?
Well, my advice to them is very simple. You need to get to the people that can help you the best as quickly as possible. And the way to get to them as quickly as possible is go find other people that are being mentored by somebody successful. And almost all the people that were high capacity that mentored me, somebody brought me to them. In other words, the key for me to get to them was this person that said, "Look, hey, you need to meet Bill Clinton," and so I went and met and became a good friend of his. But it was somebody that brought me, and so I'm always looking for people that are growing and saying, "How are you growing?" and who's talking to you, and who are you learning from, and are you in a mentoring program? And I think even back to our high capacity mentoring program we have, I think what's happening is a lot of those people are bringing their friends and say, "You got to come to
Yes.
it. This is huge. This is life changing." So it's growing honestly because there's almost legs going out and carrying the vision and saying, "Come and be with me." So, but what I would say to you is, do everything possible to get to the best mentors as quickly as possible, and understand you have to pay a price. You have to invest in yourself. If Yeah, there's nothing that you're going to get free that's going to help you. Uh, Free's for everybody and free's for the crowd. And so there's a big crowd around what's in it for me. And I can remember when I was a very young leader in my 20s, offering $100. I mean, I'm talking about 1970, 71, offering $100 for 30 minutes of time of a mentor just because, and I only made $4,800 that year. I didn't have any money, but I knew one thing. I had to show a desire to get
Mm.
mentored, and the only way I knew was to, offer somebody $100 for 30 minutes and say, I'm serious. I'm not trying to take your time, or I'm not going to goof off. I want to learn. So I invest in yourself, and as quickly as possible get to somebody that can really help you, because when you get to a pro, you're with a pro, and that mentoring will just compound faster than if you're not with somebody that's really good. So you get to the best that you possibly can as quickly as you can and invest in yourself.
Well said, John. And I've learned so much from you. I've also met a lot of people through you. I think a great
Oh,
mentor helps someone expand their circle. I think about, Deion Sanders, Malcolm Gladwell. We get to spend some time with Tim Tebow and Jesse Itzler. I mean, there's so much good coming out of our relationship beyond just the time that I get to spend with
yeah,
you. So I just want to thank you for helping me think bigger,
yeah.
helping me expand my circle. We're having so much fun with this high capacity leadership group. As we land this plane, any final thoughts on mentorship, high capacity leadership, anything that you want to leave our listeners with on this very important topic of mentorship?
Well, you mentioned it just now. Basically, the great networking question is, who do you know that I should know? And what it's the spirit of the mentor, it's the wisdom of the mentor, but it's also the connection of the mentor. And I mean, I just know people. I know people that are highly successful that the average person that's hungry isn't going to get to. And again,
Mm.
I said all the great relationships, high level ones I had, somebody took me to them. Somebody took me to John Wooden. Somebody took me to Billy Graham. I mean, all the great ones, somebody took me. So again, once your highest passion right now should be to get mentored by the best person possible and be in a group of people that will iron will sharpen iron, where it's contagious. And again, I for those who are watching or listening to the podcast, I'm telling you, you need to know. You deserve to know about high capacity leadership, and the reason you deserve to know, then so you can make a choice, and you need to know. And so, whatever Jordan, you and Chad are going to help them with or talk to them about, the people listening deserve you to help guide them into this group if that's what they want. And if you tell them what the group does, that's what they're going to want. But they deserve that. So you guys, you and Chad have a responsibility to lead them to the water so that they can get that good mentoring in their own life.
Well, John, you said it. If you're going to change how you think, you have to change who you're with.
Totally.
And you have changed not only my thought process, you've changed my relationships, also about my belief in myself and others. So for that, I just say thank you. I'm having so much fun being on this journey with you, learning from you, spending time with you. We're 3 weeks in a row. I don't know what we're doing next week, but I'm going to try to figure it out and chase you down. So thanks for being with us this morning. You are such a dear friend and just an amazing influence in my life.
My joy.
This has been another episode of the Growth Over Goals podcast. Thank you so much for being with us. And again, a big shout out to our guest, my dear friend and mentor, John C. Maxwell. I want to also say thanks to John Choate and his team at Storyline Multimedia for all of the work that they do behind the scenes to make this podcast go. Also, if you found value in today's podcast, we would love it if you'd rate the podcast or share this episode with a friend to make our mission of impact go farther with more leaders. As always, be well, be great. Have an amazing day.